So the inevitable has happened, and Novak Djokovic is being deported from Australia and likely will be banned for 3 years, which would mean he'd be 37 when he goes back there to try and win a 10th Australian Open. I went out to Serbia. I supported the family. Why? Well, I believe people should have freedom of choice. And I read the Victoria State rules. And if you're flying into Melbourne and you could show you'd had coronavirus within the last 6 months, that was fine. And indeed, a judge actually agreed with that last Monday at a court hearing. Now, look, I know there are confusions and difficulties in terms of what happened in Europe before he went. It may be that form wasn't quite filled in right in terms of where he'd been in the previous couple of weeks. But that is not what the Australians are judging. You see, it's quite extraordinary. And by the way, I believe in strong borders, but the immigration minister has power over the courts, complete arbitrary power. And there's no way, given Scott Morrison's government has become as authoritarian as it has, there was no way at some point he was not going to say, I will use my power, I will use my influence. And look at the arguments that he's using. He's saying that Djokovic could be a threat to public health. Well, I don't really think so. He's worried about public order. Well, there may be actually people protesting even more because of the way in which he's being kicked out than if he'd been allowed to stay. I understand ordinary Australians who've been through horrendous lockdowns being angry, but surely do Australians want to live in an authoritarian state? I wouldn't have thought so. So he's gone. He's on his way. And I've got to tell you, the hard lockdowners like Piers Morgan think it's great, but then they'd surrender all of our civil liberties just in the name of us getting jabbed once, twice, 3 times, the 4th just around the corner. And it doesn't stop you from catching this thing. It doesn't stop you from spreading it. It just makes you less ill. This is madness. But the Australian decision, it isn't really about Djokovic at all. It's about something that's happening in Australia and in many other parts of the free world. Just look at Western Australia. The Premier, Mark McGowan, has stated, number one, restrictions will last for years. He seems to relish in this. And from the 31st of this month, you will not be allowed outside your house to partake in any normal human activity. You can't even take your kids to the zoo or go out for a cup of coffee. This is the separation of human beings into 2 completely different camps. Surely, folks, you can see there are lessons from history about authoritarian governments that behave in this way. This is serious. And my battle wasn't just for a Serbian tennis player. It was for the direction that the free world is going to go in. And I've got to tell you, today, it feels much less free than it ought to. If you're not scared, well, you ought to be.
Thank you for watching this video. Now, to make sure you don't miss any future videos, please click the subscribe icon and the notification bell. Until next time, when I give you another story that mainstream media dare not cover.